So, in a nutshell, it is mainly the exam structure at a glance, that is 2 hours with 120 questions and 1 mark each, but there's 0.25% of every negative marking answers which can be going wrong. So, mainly, as I said, these are the major five core testing domains, that is English language, current affairs and GK, legal reasoning, logical reasoning, and quantitative techniques. Coming to the first, as I said, the way of preparation would be that you need to mainly identify major key points, arguments, and viewpoints when it comes to passages. So, the best way of preparation would be mainly to draft a lot of, to come with a comprehension with drawing logical inferences, conclusions with textual evidences, synthesize and summarize the complex material which is effectively done through passages, compare and contrast different perspective which is presented, and understand contextual meanings with regard to the vocabulary and phrases. Coming to the second, that is current affairs and general knowledge. Here, as we understand, it might be any contemporary events, whether India or global, with regard to broader societal trends. It might be art and culture, it might be legal affairs, or it might be historical aspects. So ensure that this passage, which is derived from these news and journalistic sources, they will have legal information also which may appear. So make sure you have prior legal knowledge, which is usually tested in this section. Coming to the third, which is legal reasoning, where here the principles to practice, whether it might be analytic skill, whether it might be applying these principles, or mainly to assess how modification of these rules can be brought into, that can be definitely be a reason for this to be asked in the legal reasoning. So the principles of practice has to be mainly identified very carefully in this. And the last is the fourth one is the logical reasoning, is the critical thinking. Here you need to understand argumentary skills, you need to understand the critical analysis, you need to understand the weaknesses and the strengthening points, and intervene the applications. The last but definitely very important would be the mathematical proficiency with regard to the quantitative techniques, where it might be ratio and proportion or basic algebra, it might be mensuration, that is mainly calculating the lengths, breadths, areas, or geometrical, and it might be the statistics at the end, right? So make sure you have, when you're preparing, ensure that there is access to preparatory materials, which is usually given by the, it will be the official support which will be given by the consortium, right? The registered candidates can mainly get the guide, sample questions, model question papers, instructions, and everything. You can also use the learning platforms, right, where the model question papers would be mainly displayed. You can attend online sessions by where you can get certain guidance for preparation strategies and question answers approaches for each section, all the five sections, right? Apart from that, if you're inclined towards self preparation, make sure reading comprehension is developed. Current affairs is mainly regularly you're reading quality newspapers periodically to stay updated. Quantitative skills, which might be that is mainly after your 10th mathematics textbooks, so that you improve more speed and accuracy while practicing such mathematics. And the last but definitely not least is the time management. Work on answer questions effectively within 2 hours time limit so that you are well prepared for the exams. Alright, so make sure you take a screenshot of this, whichever slide you feel appropriate. And these all the informations are already available on the internet. Now, coming to the PG CLAT exams, which is mainly for the students who are mainly aspirants for the PG courses, like LLM courses after their degree, is mainly here also the question pattern remains the same, where there is 120 questions, 120 minutes, 0.25 negative markings. The only change would be that the coverage of the syllabus is little different, that is constitutional law, jurisprudence, administrative law, contract, torts, family law, criminal law, property law, company law, public international law, tax law, environmental law, labor and industrial law. So these are the major subjects which is covered for the PG CLAT exams, and the syllabus has the same. With regard to the same also, I would say when it comes to UG or PG, your path to success mainly comes when you have a prior knowledge, steps to improve the guidance, the proper guidance, so that you know when to prepare and how much time does it take to prepare. So make sure you start your preparation early and stay consistent throughout your journey of your CLAT, as well as mainly with regard to any sort of material you need to make sure that you approach in a proper way, and also to ensure that you stay updated with the current affairs, manage your time effectively during the exams, and make sure you have a proper strategy to prepare for CLAT. And last but definitely not the least, I would definitely say that success in CLAT exam requires dedication, strategic preparation, and through understanding of the exam pattern. Your journey to the India's premier law university begins with the informed preparation and consistent effort. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you so much for watching.